Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Yesterday I took part in the InspireINK blog hop and our theme was a 3D project. So I made this gift bag. I'm not going to open it, but it has a packet of Hotel Chocolat chocolates inside of it. Nice and simple 3D packaging. It's essentially just a little pocket bag with a lovely sentiment, but this stunningly gorgeous Masterfully Made designer series paper. So I'm going to make another one. I'm going with this design from the pack. It's a 12 by 12 pack, and I need to chop 1 inch off this end. I want my paper to run in this direction, so I'm taking my 1 inch off there. Don't need that bit, and I'm going to take 3 inches off the top, so the remaining paper size is 9 inches by 11 inches. Okay, so don't need that bit. At the bottom, so again mine is running this way, at the bottom I'm going to score at 1 inch. Take that cutting blade out the way. So I've lined it up at the one on this side just because it's a little bit easier, and just score there. Then on my top edge I want to score at 3.5 inches, and then at 8.5 inches. Take that down a bit, you can see. So I lined up there 8.5 inches and scored there. So that is all. I folded it over at the top, but I just did that manually. I didn't actually bother scoring that. So we'll just stick with doing the same. When I made my first one, I didn't know how I was going to close it. So that's why I didn't bother scoring. Isn't that so bright and beautiful? Gorgeous. And then the other side is just that little bit more subtle and delicate. Loving it. So this is our bottom piece here. And we've got our 2 score lines this way. There we are. Now, I want to cut up these score lines. Neither of them are easy to see. So I've got my score line there. I am actually going to take a little bit of an angle before the score line, that side, and the same on that side there. Okay, so I've just got that little bit angle on the join at the bottom there, and then I'm going to take these pieces off completely. I'm going to get my bigger scissors, it's just easier. So I've got my score line. I'm actually going to veer to the top of the score line, so I'm actually cutting the score line out as well. Okay, so it's just making that slightly shorter, and the same at this side. To there. Oops. That's the problem with bigger scissors. Makes me even more clumsy. Right, so we've got those little bits spare, and if we fold it that way, then that is the 2.5 inch panel is right in the middle there. Okay, so, and that will just fold up like that. So a little bit of gluing, and to make sure I'm going right to the edge, I like to put a line on there and on the underside of this piece. A little bit belt and braces, So both sides of that overlap are glued down. A little bit of glue escaping there, but that's all right because I'm going to glue that bit anyway. There we go. I don't know if you can hear, but there's bird song just outside my window. It's still nice and warm here at the time of recording. So it's lovely to have the window open. But the birds are chattering away to me. It's lovely. So that's my little package. And you can see it's quite a bit wider, and that's because I haven't done any gusseted sides or anything like that. I've just got this little pocket to pop them in there. Okay, and this was where I just kind of went, oh, I think I'll fold that over. So as I said, you could score that, and I'd say it was probably about ½ an inch. But I'm just going to wing it like that. And in fact, what I'm going to do is take those out again, and then I can give it a good press like that. You can feel glue there. It's probably from my hands. Right, so I've got my very best trio punch, and we've got this little bit here that we can do for the ribbon, and I want that to go right the way through. So if I'm lining that up to the middle, and that should be the middle, I'm going to have to stand up for this because it's going through 4 pieces of this lovely thick paper. It takes a bit of pressure. Like that. And squeeze it. So there are 4 of those tiny little bits there. But it cuts cleanly. Just takes that little bit extra oomph. Right, so let's pop those chocolates back in. And then I can put my ribbon through that piece there. And I am sticking with this bubble bath ribbon. This comes in a pack of 3 with Lemon Lolly and Azure Afternoon. And even although there isn't any Lemon Lolly, oh, honestly, what was wrong with me today? Even although there isn't any bubble bath ink colour in there, I'm going to use the bubble bath ink for the sentiment on the front, and I think it coordinates quite nicely anyway. So let's give myself plenty of this ribbon to tie a little bow. So bring it to the front there, because that's where you want it to sit. Then let's see how we do. Oh, lost my loop. Try that again. Here we go. Right, I'm just going to quickly chop that off, and I'll tidy it up with my ribbon scissors in a moment. But let's just see if I can get this to look a little bit nicer. It's very pretty ribbon. That little silver edge just has a lovely little shimmer to it. Let's just snip that off at a little angle. There we go. Right, decoration now, and I use the Circle Sayings stamp set with the coordinating 2 3/8 inch punch, and then I cut so I stamped with Bubble Bath and Melon Mambo, and that's Melon Mambo card at the back. So changing that, I found the easiest way to do this is to punch your circle first. Okay. And it kind of kinks. This is thick basic white. Doesn't have to be, it's just that I had a scrap there. It kind of kinks a little bit in the points where it pinches there. So I just use my bone folder to flatten it out a little bit. And then I've got this lovely floral stamp that I'm going to again use a Bubble Bath to tie in with my lovely ribbon. Ink that up, and then what you want to do is stamp that as close to the edge as you dare. Okay, now there's a bit that there's a full flower there and there's a little indent there, which is perfect. When you turn it around, your bit full flower goes into the indent and vice versa on the other side. So again, close to the edge, and that pattern continues beautifully right the way around. I maybe went a bit too close to the edge there, never mind. So this time I'm going to use Berry Burst. I have still got the thank you on my block, and your joins are there. I find it's a little bit easier if you twist it a little bit and you've got more space to stamp on in there. Lovely. I have a scrap of Berry Burst card. I'm just going to die cut. Oh, that was my coffee mug being hit with my mini cut and emboss. Every craft room needs a thermal coffee cup, and mine is, of course, a gorgeous Stampin' Up one. There we go. Let's just pop that through. Hey presto. So that was the second largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. And I've got one missing, there it is. Okay, love this set of dies, very versatile, very useful. Just going to stick that on. Oh, this one was the one that was working, and it is again. And pop that on there. Let's get that out the way before I put my fingers in it. And again, I'm just going to use a wet glue. You could pop it up on dimensionals if you wished, but I don't really think it needs anything else to decorate it with, so I am just going to leave it like that. Lovely decadent little treat. I love Hotel Chocolat chocolates, and I'd be delighted to receive that as a thank you gift, so hopefully the two people I have in mind will love to receive these too. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I'd love for you to click on the button to subscribe and click on the bell to get notification of the next time I upload a tutorial. Until then, please do take care. Bye.